Hey Ben, I have a question for you. Do you ever feel like you just need a little bit more positivity in your life? Like, no matter what you do, it's easy to feel bogged down by everything that's going wrong?
I think so. I think we could all probably feel that way. We compare ourselves on social media, others more, everybody has more stuff, more adventures, whatever than we do. And it gets us down. We're constantly looking at the news cycles before bed, scrolling through. We're not supposed to be doing that, but we do it.
Yeah.
And, it can make it feel like the world's falling apart around us. And, that I'm the only one that doesn't have it together. So, yeah, definitely positivity is a good thing. We could all use it.
Yeah. It's for me, it's looking at your social media feed. I feel like I'm just not keeping up, man. You're the guy that goes all over the world, and it's good to know that maybe even you feel that way. I think it's a common thing, right? It's like you go out on Facebook, Twitter, and you just see everybody posting all of that stuff that they've been doing, right? They just bought your friend from high school just bought a beach house, or they're buying that new car. Meanwhile, you're just trying to figure out how to freaking pay the bills and, hopefully get a good dinner out with your spouse sometime this month, right? And it just feels like it's just not fair.
Yeah, yeah, and, we might see someone that we know just gets up and runs a marathon, and it feels like it's out of nowhere with no they didn't do anything to get there, right? And for us, it's hard to get that one day at the gym or whatever we can make happen, but that's still, a positive thing in our lives.
But instead of drowning in all that negativity, there's actually a simple practice that we can do to flip the script, and that's all about gratitude.
Research shows that practicing gratitude can give us a serious mental and emotional boost. But how do you do it? Let's break it down, Kurt.
So there's a ton of research out on this, and it all supports this conclusion. When you consistently reflect on what you're grateful for, you start to retrain your brain, and you retrain your brain to focus more on the positive things happening in your life. It's like shifting from what's wrong to what's right. And it creates a positive feedback loop. When you intentionally focus on good things, your brain gets better at noticing them. And it's not just the big wins like landing that dream job, it's the small stuff too, like enjoying a quiet cup of coffee or catching a beautiful sunset.
So, what does this do for us? Why should I care if my brain has a positive feedback loop and that I'm out there noticing more good things?
That's a good question, right? So, studies have shown that gratitude not only improves your mood, right? So, focusing in on gratitude, you feel happier, you feel better, you feel more fulfilled, right? And it can even help with reducing stress, improving your relationships, and even help with sleep and physical health. It's all about shifting your perspective, and it's really powerful. One study found that people who practice gratitude regularly had better emotional well-being and greater life satisfaction overall. And it's a simple practice, and that's the great piece about this. It's a simple practice, but it has a huge impact.
I don't think anyone would say no to overall life satisfaction improvement, but this sounds hard. And how much gratitude do I need to do to make that happen?
All right, so it's not hard, right? So it's not like we have to spend an hour, meditating on the gratitude that we have for our life, right? It just takes a few minutes a day of consistently reflecting on the good stuff. That few minutes a day has been shown to, again, rewire our brain so that we can find more meaning, more joy, more fulfillment in our life.
I mean, this sounds like we should all start practicing gratitude, right? And we've talked about this. There are tons of ways to do it, and you don't have to stick to just one method, which is great. So let's walk you through a few of them. Kurt, can you give us a
Right.
little insights on that?
Yeah, so let's start by doing this really simple thing. Try asking yourself, what am I thankful for at this moment? This very moment could be something as simple as having a great conversation with a friend like you and I are doing right now, right? I'm thankful for that. Or it could be just having the time and inclination to enjoy your breakfast this morning, right? Savoring that waffle or that cup of coffee. The goal here is really to recognize and to appreciate those positive moments, no matter how small they are. Think about it in the moment. What are you thankful for right now? Set up reminders for yourself to do this, right? That's a thing that I love, right? I've gone so far as to set up an alarm on my phone for 2 times a day that just says gratitude. which gets me to think about what I'm grateful for at those times. And for me, I set it up at 2:30 p.m. and at 11 p.m. right before I go to bed.
I love the phone idea. That's not something I knew, and I think I'm gonna go try that right away. So,
There you
I
go.
learned
Yeah.
something new today.
Good.
And, aside from that, we've talked about another approach, which is asking, "What brought me joy in the past few days?" Take a look back and focus on the joy. This could be anything from a good workout to a nice family dinner. Often we take these things for granted, but when you intentionally reflect on them, they bring you more joy as you think about them.
So the joy part that you said, Ben, I think that's really key, right? It's this idea of focusing in on that joy and taking a look back. Oftentimes we don't savor the moment like I was doing, and so we have to look back. And when we look back, we can see some of those things. Here's another exercise that I really love, and it's the what if I didn't have blank question that you need to ask yourself. And I like to think of it as It's a Wonderful Life approach. So for those of you who don't know, It's a Wonderful Life was a great Christmas movie made back in the 40s or 50s, I don't know. And the main character, his name is George Bailey, is down on his life. Lots of bad things are happening, and so he wishes that he had never been born. And then the angel wish grants that wish, and then he gets to see the impact that that had, not just on him, but on the rest of everybody else, right? And so what I want you to do though in this is like, what if I had never had this? So think about this for your own life and not about not being born part, but what would your life be like if you hadn't met a certain person or hadn't taken that job that set your career in motion or even had that horrible breakup with your ex-girlfriend? Well, I would have never met my current wife and I wouldn't have had the kids that I had and different things. So you can see where that goes. When you think about your life without certain things, it can make you very grateful for what you have right now.
Very true, and that can be, positive things and negative things, right? Like you said, the breakup.
Exactly. I mean,
Maybe
the
that
negative
breakup
things
led
in your
to some
life,
of the best things in your life, and you just
yeah,
never thought of
exactly.
it that way.
Those negative things can be really important. Yeah.
Another really great one is to ask, "What have I done this week that someone else would be grateful for?" This flips the script a little bit, and sometimes reflecting on how you've helped others can deepen your own sense of gratitude.
Yeah, and Ben, I think that's really key, and there's some really cool research that shows if you actually look at what you're doing that somebody else will be grateful for, it has a stronger impact on that sense of gratitude. Even though you're not the one that's feeling grateful, you're the one who's doing the things that are great, being grateful for. It's a really kind of weird way that our brain tricks us. But anyway, the key here is variety. By approaching gratitude from a number of different angles, you can keep it fresh, you can keep it meaningful, and it's more likely that you're going to stick with this habit of having a gratitude moment.
Yeah, and gratitude is not a new idea. There's tons of tools out there if you need help in finding a way to establish gratitude in your life. There's journals, there's apps, there's planners, there's websites. If you name it, it's probably out there and something you can find. Kurt, you might
Right.
know
And
one
for
or two good ones that you could recommend, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for example, our brain shift journal, we include daily gratitude prompts designed to help you reflect on the different areas of your life. And what we think is a bit unique is the way that we change up those prompts, every day within the week. So you're not answering the same question every day, right? Which provides that novelty. And again, we use things like the It's a Wonderful Life approach. We do things like savoring in the moment. We bring those types of prompts in, and it's really important to remember that, hey, it provides some novelty in how you are approaching this and thinking about the highlights that you are grateful for.
And remember, it's not just the big life-changing things. You're encouraged to appreciate the small stuff, like the satisfaction of finishing a task or that funny moment with your kid, which is also part of that gratitude cycle of noticing the positive things, right? So when you practice this regularly, you'll notice how much you've got to be grateful for in your life as it is and start focusing more on those positive gratitudes.
So stop worrying about Betsy from high school and how can she afford another great vacation to the Bahamas, right? Focus in on your life and on the things that are going well for you, no matter how small they seem.
Ugh, Betsy, she is the worst. But positivity is, regardless of that, positivity is easier to find than you think. With just a few minutes each day, you can start feeling more grateful and a lot more motivated.
Yeah. And that's it for today's episode, folks. Start practicing gratitude today and watch how it can transform your mindset. And remember, gratitude can help you to keep on shifting.